Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to play Blackout Hong Kong. This is a 1 to 4 player game designed by Alexander Pfister and published by Eggert Spiel. Nick is going to go through how to play and we'll give you our review.
Okay, we're set up for a 2-player game of Blackout Hong Kong. Back out, here's the main board, very dark board, and our player boards. So we got a 2-player game going, all set up. So I'm going to track it on this player board. So the first player is going to have this little marker to track what stage we are in every round. So you can see the first thing we do is we're going to roll and then we'll plan. So we take our 3 dice here, roll them up, make sure there's no doubles. If there were doubles, we just roll until we have unique results. So we're going to have red go to the med. We're going to have the the blue one go to the water, and the yellow one we're going to put at the book based on their symbols. And now we know what we get when we assign these different colors. So we're going to come here and plan. Looking at our cards, our base set of cards, we know that if we play, let's say we play these 2 cards, we are going to get the result of the red and the yellow die. So I will get 1 med kit and 1 book. To track that, well, first we're going to place them. Deploy volunteers and specialists. So I'm actually going to do 3 cards because you see we have a 3rd slot here. So let's just say we do the doctor. Add a little complexity. So I'm going to go ahead and place these underneath where we start. And I'm going to do these 3 actions. So I'm going to get 1 med, 1 book, and I'm going to do this action. I'll show you how to do that. So to gain these resources, we take our cubes and we put them out here. Because I did a red, I did a yellow, and I'm going to spend that med kit to get one of my cards back from the hospital. That's what the doctor does. So we will also, you're going to see the shield. I'll explain that in a second. So I'm going to spend 1 of my med kits. I'm now going to retrieve 1 of my people that started in the hospital, either my leader or, does this person have a name? He does not. Or this person, which you can see gives me 2, got some glare right there. It gives me 2 blue as opposed to 1, like some of my basic stuff. So let's just say I took this person back. I'm taking this person into my hand from the hospital. So he goes in my hand. This is all gonna be private information as the game goes on. I just wanted to show you guys what I have to start. I also gain this shield. So that shield, let me get the light out of here, is VP. What VP? It is the VP of the person I just recovered, so 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and move myself 2 victory points. Of course, the goal of the game is to have the most victory points, so that helps. And that is deploy volunteers and specialists. Of course, my opponent will also be doing that as well. Next, we're gonna move here to objectives. This is where we spend our resources, if we can, to do different objectives and earn these cards. So if I had, hypothetically, if I had this rice or food and this med kit, I could take this card into my hand by this symbol and place a marker on a blue tile that is adjacent to me. So to start the game, we're gonna be able to pick, let's say I picked that, and orange player, which will be Vicky, picked that at random. That's how basically we start the game. So if I were to achieve that, I can pick an adjacent blue to put it on. So I can go adjacent and go right there. And then that card, like I said, would go in my hand if I had the resources to do that. So that is objectives. Scout is the next step. You can scout on any of these areas. This is what these black chips are that have one of your cubes on them adjacent. So I can scout here because I'm adjacent, and I can scout, or I can scout here because I'm adjacent, or I could scout here because I'm adjacent with this cube. So to do that, I'm gonna take these 3 take a look at what we can do. And we're counting our little search tokens. 5 is an easy one, or 6 here, and then the more advanced ones are these. At the beginning of the game, you're not gonna have that many search tokens. So to get search tokens, you can notice them on some of these cards. So you can put a group together from your hand. So this person could go because they have a search token. This person could go, etc. This person, and we get a search party together. Also, these tokens give you 3 of these of value. So anyway, we put the number together, and let's say we want to do this search. These 2 will then go back to where they came from, face up. This one, I will spend my search tokens, if I have any, and I will put together a party. Let's say I had 5, I just used 5 cards, and randomly one of these people are gonna go to the hospital. So I can shuffle them up, and let's say I pick this one, they're gonna go to the hospital. But I will be rewarded with 2 book. So I can put 2 cubes on the book, right here. So now I have 3 of those resources. And that is the gist of how these work. Next, new objectives. I'll move this marker up. It shows that I can now purchase new objectives. We have 9 out here, 3 rows of 3. I can purchase these at a cost of how many ever is in the row plus 1. In this case, at the start of the game, they're all 4. $4, I can buy any of these. It'll get cheaper as the row diminishes and your choices diminish. So I could purchase one of these. When I purchase them, let's say I purchase this for $4, it goes to my objectives. It does not go into my hand, because remember, I have to satisfy this to get this in my hand. Next, cleanup. So you can see here, if we go in this order, the rules have it in the book, has it in a different order, but if we go in this order, displayed on our board, we can trade in food. We have to trade in food. We can't keep food or water for 2 right there. And that's dollars. They call them Hong Kong dollars in the game. Oh, and what else we got? We got water. So you can trade 1 water for a coin each, or 2 water for one of those GPS symbols. You may discard 1 unfinished objective here. If you no longer want these, we start with these. Maybe you don't want to do this, you can discard. This is your chance. And we discard the rightmost card here. So these start going away and becoming cheaper. Bring this up. Secure districts. So we're going to check to see if anyone has a whole region outlined with their cubes. If they do, they're going to get that many victory points based on how many of those spots there are. In this case, it was here. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We would have 6, and that would be 10 victory points. Not only that, but we would also take one of these buildings here, whichever ability maybe we want to have, and I'll explain that. It's actually the next step. And let's say I want to do that. I'll put this here to show that I now control that region, and all these go away. Now, what does that do? You can see the very last step, refresh hand, and then carry out checkmark actions. So after I refresh my hand, which you can see, your hand at the beginning of the game has to be between 0 and 4 cards. Oops. You can upgrade that, by the way, by doing that. So when you're completing objectives, you do have this that you can do. There's also one that unlocks that 4th row. So there's some things you can do other than just your objective cards. But I can refresh my hand, which is taking the row that has the most cards in them and putting them back into my hand. That is refreshing my hand. But I can only do that if I have between 0 and 4 cards. Then I can carry out my checkmark actions, which is, in this case, this is the only one I have right now that I just earned. So I can get a tool. I can trade a tool for $3 one time. Tools are just another resource that I don't have, so I would not do that checkmark action. that is the gist of the game. You're going to play until this deck runs out. In a 2-player game, it is 36 cards, and it's more cards for more players. So before I go, I wanted to explain a few things I noticed I didn't talk about. I'll explain these travel tokens, I believe they're called. These help you mitigate dice results. So I can spend a travel token to move this yellow gas can for myself only to this water if I wanted. So I'd spend that and say I'm gonna make it a water, put my cube out on the water. Okay? So that's what those do. They also help you, that you can move like these results. Let's say this was gonna give me a blue out here. I could make it, I can travel, because normally I can only go adjacent, but let's say my cube was here and I really want to get here, I can spend a travel token to skip this purple right here. Also, I didn't explain really how this works, but I explained that you discard the rightmost, but these do not replenish until the row is completely gone. Then they immediately replenish. End game scoring, I'll mention a few things. Obviously, you're going to have a score track, so you're going to keep that. Also, these cards, when you have them in your hand, all these cards will factor in victory point wise with the number at the top right. So if it's in your hand, it's going to score. If it's in your tableau, it's going to score. These in your hospital will not score at all. And these out here in your objectives, they're not in your hand, so they're not going to score. Also, what scores are these scouting tokens. If they are face up here, they're going to score. And when you're going to also sell anything in this rondel, any of your cubes on here will sell for 1 coin each, and then for every 5 coins you have at the end of the game, you're going to get a victory point for that too. And that, I believe, covers it. Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going to give our reviews for game we just played, Blackout Hong Kong. And right away, my review, 8.3. So another solid game by Alexander Pfister. He has a very strong history in Maracaibo that came out, very highly reviewed. We've played Great Western Trail. We both like that. We'll probably review that and give us a solid opinion. We'll play that again. We haven't played in a little while, so we'll see where we stand on that game. And I own that, so we'll probably do that in the future. This one, strong game. A lot of things I like about it. I'd say the thing I like the most about it is when you're picking up your objectives cards, you're trying to see if you want maybe things that really work well with your hand and easier for you to obtain, or things that you really truly want, which would be hard to obtain. So, and everything really ties together. I like our player board, how it shows every step. So you're not going to say, oh, where are we at? What we do? Yeah, we have a marker. Tracking. As long as we move the marker, we know what we're doing, and we just follow the steps. So it's pretty easy to jump into. It's not a light game by any means, but it's easy to jump into, especially if you have a decent person explaining it or you read the rules. It's not going to be that difficult because you can just reference every single step. You can really jump in pretty quick because you can say, what are we doing at this step? Read the rule. What are we doing at this step? Read the rule. So it's nice. What do you got?
My score was very similar. I gave it an 8.6. This game was wonderful. It has everything that you want. You get to roll dice, play with cards, build a tableau, a little bit of area control with the regions, controlling the regions. Wow, just so much to do. I really enjoyed it for that reason. And like you said, there's a lot to it, a lot of meat, but it is easily referenced. And you can't go wrong with a game that can lay it all out. Some iconography, but it's not anything tricky to really translate. So I did like it a lot. Strong score from me. Would love to play it again anytime. Let us know what your favorite game by Alexander Pfister is in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for tuning in today.
Adios.
Bye.